Hi, it's Ian. Welcome back to 30 Days of Knife Skills. This is day 2, and we're doing potatoes today. So you don't always have to peel potatoes. I usually peel them if it kind of looks like this, like they're a little bit old, or we don't really know underneath what it looks like, so it's a good idea to peel them. Just like carrots, if I'm going to peel potatoes, I might take off the ends just a little bit, and that will help me get going on the peeling like this. So starting at the very edge and then going all the way to the other edge in one swipe. If it's a bigger potato than this, then you might need to go halves like this. And then go to the other side. Like that. Pretty clean. Now we have these eyes. This potato happens to have these eyes that I'm not able to get on with the peeler initially. So this peeler, a lot of peelers have these, but they can remove the eyes this way. That's okay to do, but I prefer to use the heel of my very sharp knife and kind of push it in and then pull it out like that. It's faster, and yeah, that's just my preferred way to get them out. If it's very small, depending on the application, you might not need to worry about pulling these out, but sometimes there's dirt in there that we just can't get out. So, and then sometimes there's a dark spot that I can trim like that. So it's a little bit faster and a little easier to work with a knife so that I can clean up the potato that way. So what are the shapes you might be using for potatoes? It could be sliced, like for scallop potatoes. That might be in something like a 1 to 2 millimeter length. So this way. This kind of shape, or potato chips, I guess. So that's straightforward. If your potato is very round and it kind of wobbles, moves around a lot, then of course it's a good idea to take that one little bit off the bottom and stabilize it. So that's a good way to do it. Of course, having good knife skills means that you don't have your fingers this way. Always have it so that it's curved, and make sure your thumb is not ahead of that first finger. Always keep your thumb slightly behind, completely behind your fingers, or kind of on the side and behind, so that you don't get your thumb in this. Yeah, we don't want that. I tend to use kind of the front half of the knife for doing this kind of task, for slicing. Another common one might be French fry shape. So in that case, we would go this way, and if I was going for a 1/4 inch, then it's nice if I can keep it all together. I might let the ends do those separately. So keep them stacked, and then something like that. So it's nice if you can kind of look and see if you can kind of guess how many cuts you'll have. So this is about maybe a 3/8 inch fry potato. From here, if you're going to make something like scallop potatoes, which I like doing a lot with this shape or this size, you just line them up. And again, I like using the front half of the knife for this kind of task. If you have a long knife, then you can actually do quite a bit at the same time. It's one reason to have a longer knife. You can make your task, your time, go a little shorter. The downside to having a long knife might be that you run out of room in your board. So if your board is not that big, then maybe you have to adjust your knife size to that. So here's very nice scalloped potatoes. The rounded part, sometimes you just have to do them one at a time, like this. Same thing here. I think for home use, we don't need to worry that much about the fact that some pieces are like this, so not square but kind of triangular. I think that's totally fine and maybe even desirable to get different textures as you cook something. So we have our scalloped potato or kind of potato chips, and then we have our fried potatoes or like soup. I might put this in a soup and it will cook evenly and uniformly and fairly quickly, so that would be a good thing. So what else might we do with potatoes? Another thing I do all the time is to just boil them, and then either after boiling them, roast them to get a very, very crunchy, super crunchy outside with a very soft, creamy inside. Or after boiling, I will just cool it and make potato salad, which is something I do all the time. So here again, these eyes aren't too big. I might not really worry about it, especially if I'm going to boil it. A lot of this just might come off anyway, or clean itself up anyway. So maybe not worry about it. So for boiling, first thing I would do is cut it in half lengthwise and then try to decide, do I want to keep this size or do I want to go one smaller? So this one is borderline to me. It could go either way, but I think maybe I'll do one more cut. And then for boiling, I'm just looking at it. I think 2 cuts. So here we have about this kind of, I think that's pretty nice for potato salad. One good trick for potato salad, this is a russet potato, so it's kind of starchy. It might not hold its shape as you're boiling, even if you're careful about watching your time, is to lower the pH in your boiling water. So what I always do, I'll cut a whole bunch of them up, dump it in the pan, cover it with cold water, and give a good bunch of salt on top of that, and then put it on the stove and get it going with the lid on. And if I'm going to make potato salad, I will drop in maybe a teaspoon of vinegar, any kind of vinegar. I probably use distilled vinegar, the cheap kind, because it's not there for taste. It's just to lower the pH, and that allows the outside of the potato surface to remain intact. So if I was going to roast them, I would not do that because I'm looking for more of a textured, kind of roughed up surface so that those get all crunchy in the oven. But for potato salad, maybe I don't want it to all fall apart and become kind of a mushy mess in the bowl as I mix it with the dressing and other ingredients. So that's a really good trick that is quite useful. So potato salad, or I guess stews, like a curry, Japanese curry often has something like this. Potatoes about this size and shape. So we could do the same thing. We could do something in between as well. If we did 2, and then maybe a little bit, a size between this and this might be something like 1, 2, 3, 4. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, maybe we want a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next one.